Hello everyone and welcome back to Two Hearts Urban Homestead. Today we are going to do a beginning of June garden tour. There's a lot of plants that are on their way out before the summer gets here, and there are a few plants that we've planted out with more to come. So let's go ahead and take a look, and don't forget, if you do like this content, please don't forget to like and subscribe. Thank you. So the first thing that we're going to do is we're going to take a look at some of the spring vegetables that were planted. So here in this bed we have broccoli, which we have some florets coming on nicely. We also have some cilantro, which is doing very well. Cilantro is very easy to bolt. We have 2 stalks of celery in here, and it also looks like something has been digging in my flower pot there, or my fabric pot. So I hope it wasn't a cat, because if it was, it has left me a surprise, but more than likely it is a squirrel. In this fabric pot, I'm trying to see if I can grow a cabbage in a much smaller pot than it would normally grow in. I am keeping everything well fertilized as well. So I do fertilize once a week with a 511 fish emulsion fertilizer. And everything so far still seems to be growing very, very well, especially the celery. I've had very good luck over the past few years growing celery, so hopefully that luck will continue. I did get 1 pepper from one of the local nurseries. I did do a video on that, so please again support your local nurseries. This was a nursery that supports teens, and it supports an urban neighborhood, primarily in the Black community. So I did purchase this along with a few other items. So this is a guajillo pepper. So it's supposed to be kind of like a chili pepper, a little bit on the spicier side, and I thought I would try this. It is putting on some buds, so I think I might pinch those off until it does get a little bit bigger, but again, it's doing wonderfully. I did leave it out last night. Last night did get down to about 46, but since we are a little bit closer to the lake, we oftentimes do kind of not get the actual reported temperature. So I'm saying it might have only gotten down to maybe about 50-ish in our area, and the pepper did just fine. Moving along here, we have a red cabbage, and I just have just that 1 cabbage growing in the same size. I think this is a 3-gallon pot, so it is doing wonderful. Starting to curl up there just a bit in the center. And then back here in this pot, we have a Mizuna, and we have kale, a red Russian kale. So it is doing fantastic. In this one, fabric pot, I am very proud of the growth. This is a sage plant that did overwinter. It looks beautiful. As you can see, it's very thick and very woody. It is flowering, and I'm just in love. I love it. Looks like there's going to be some beautiful flower buds here. And then also in this pot we have a red Russian kale, and I have a Mizuna plant that wasn't out here but maybe a few weeks, and it's already gone to seed. So I'm going to let the pollinators get a hold of that. And I'm thinking of collecting the seeds. Now I do have another Mizuna plant back here that's supposed to be more like a broadleaf Mizuna. So I might actually pull that one out and put it somewhere else, so maybe they don't cross-pollinate, just so I can have a little bit more of a true to seed Mizuna for the skinnier leaf versus the broader leaf. So we'll see on that. My raspberry bush back here is doing very well. It is a thorned raspberry bush, so I am not going to be touching it, but it is doing wonderful. And there are also some more plants coming up in the pot as well, so it is definitely rooting out. My blueberry bush, not even sure what to say. It didn't do so well over the winter, so I'm thinking next winter I might just put these in the garage just to protect them a little bit from the cold, but I'm probably gonna cut it down. That way the roots, because the plant is definitely still alive. See that? When you scratch it, if it's still green, the plant is still alive. So if I cut it down, it might give it a little time to heal. In this container, as you can see, I did do a harvest yesterday. These were my champion collard greens. They're doing well. I don't think they're bolting quite yet. I do think they're putting on more leaves. I'm pretty sure my lettuce here is bolting. It's getting pretty tall. Usually you can start seeing some flowers here in the middle. So the lettuce is definitely bolting here. In this container, I have my kohlrabi on this side, and I had some collard greens as well on this side. So the collard greens, again, I did harvest. The kohlrabi, while this one did appear to be forming a nice bulb, I don't think they're going to make it. I think they're all starting to bolt. You can definitely see the flowers here, and the stalk is getting quite tall. So maybe we'll just let that bolt and then save the seeds from the kohlrabi and plant those again in the fall. In this container, I have onions on the side here. I have one celery. I have a cabbage. And I have one more green cabbage back here. Another onion tucked in down here and another one there. And also a marigold. So everything does seem to be doing well in this planter. Here as well, I have some turnip greens that I did harvest. I have a few plants that didn't make it, and I just kind of tossed the peat pots in there for now, just to get them out of the way. But turnip greens did well. There were a few more here, and here. They did bolt, so I threw them to the chickens. I didn't want to collect those seeds. On to the strawberry tower. I will be cleaning it out today. As you can see, my strawberries did not come back this year. Oh my goodness, what type of bug is that one? I don't think I've ever seen that. Oh, sorry about that. Yeah, every pocket that had a strawberry. And the crowns were not covered up. And I did a really good clean out and cut back of all the dead leaves this spring. So I'm not sure what happened, but none of them came back. So I'm gonna go ahead and clean this out because it's the beginning of June, and if they were gonna come back, they would have definitely come back by now. So the first 3 tiers on here had strawberries. There was no strawberries in the last tier. In this container here, I have my rosemary plants. So I just potted these out yesterday. I just need to go through and maybe give them a nice little soaking of water. My onions are doing beautifully. They are getting very thick and strong. And I do cover everything up with a little bit of wire until it's strong enough. We do have a lot of squirrels and cats in the neighborhood that do like to pee and dig up everything. And I am trying fabric pots for carrots this year. So my carrots are doing wonderfully so far. I might need to go in and trim a few out that are growing too close together. But for now, I'm not going to bother. They seem to be doing fine. So hopefully I'll get some carrots this year. Looks like I sowed a little bit heavy towards the middle. Actually, I think I sowed a little bit along the sides too as well. But I think with watering, they kind of washed towards the middle as I watered. So maybe I was a little heavy-handed on the watering. So I'll have to keep that in mind next time I do plant. So let's take a quick pause, and I'm going to walk over to the other side of the garden. All right, so this is my other green stalk planter. And here I have, I'm going to say that this is probably a type of kale. So this was supposed to be a curly kale. The curly kale that I grew last year was very different from this one. So I'm just really not sure. So I haven't quite eaten anything yet. It's very extremely thick stalks. It's in very good health, and it's been growing wonderfully. This was very huge at one point. As you can see, I did pick off some of the leaves and I gave them to the chickens. So I do have a few of those planted within this green stalk. I did pop in, I believe this was a celery plant. And then, because you know, celery and parsley look so familiar sometimes when you look directly at them. And then I have some Swiss chard as well here in these top planters. I have some, what is this, red boar kale as well. It looks so beautiful. I have a few of those planted along this level. Just step back a little bit so you guys can see. I know it's a little shaded right here in this area. And then again, another kale plant here. I have some thyme, if I missed it, right here in the top planted as well. So that's pretty much all that's in here. Oh, I did forget the Mizuna. The Mizuna is in here as well. So this is the skinnier leaf Mizuna, again, that I did not get to harvest anything before it decided it wanted to bolt. So that's that. In this container, I have a few tomatoes. So I believe these are the Kellogg's breakfast tomatoes here. And I have a few cucumbers that I planted here as well that I'm hoping will climb up this trellis, and they'll probably produce before the tomatoes do. So I felt that, you know, they'd be okay to plant in this planter as well. I have a Cherokee tomato that's here, a honeycomb that's there, and another honeycomb that's there. I only plant those for my daughter. Those are pretty much the only tomatoes that she will eat. And I am reusing an old crib bed frame to kind of have, let's see if I can focus out a little bit. There we go. So it's just a bed frame from a crib that I mounted that I'm going to use to grow the tomatoes up. So thought it was a little wider when I was in the basement, but I guess not. That's why all the spider webs are on there. But we're gonna reuse what we got. Over here in our other bed, we have our garlic. And when I tell you our garlic is doing wonderful, our garlic is doing wonderful. Now there was one more at the end down here. It just shriveled up and died. But if you look at those stalks, they are very nice, thick stalks of garlic. We have some cilantro here. I have one lonely spinach that came up after months of growing. There's a few onions that I just threw in there because I didn't have room for them anywhere else. We also have some radishes. So our radishes are radishing. And then I have some celery. I have a few flowers started here. I think it's borage in here and calendula and something else that I can't quite remember, but I definitely do need to water these and up pot. We have some turnip greens that I did plant afterwards, so I'm hoping I can get a small harvest before those bolt. And then we have some beets that are back here that I probably indeed did plant too close as well. And then here behind the netting again, our turnip greens are bolting. You can see the flower stalk there. So that will get pulled to go to the chickens. And these are very bare because I did, of course, go through last night and do a harvest. So yes, they are all very bare right now. I think my camera is getting a little hot, so I am going to see if I can pause for a moment up in there, but I think we're back. You can see one of the turnips is starting to split here. So this is a turnip that has, I believe, most people call it like a rutabaga, at least my grandma did. And then we have some more turnips that are starting to bolt. The collards back there so far look like they're still doing okay, but again, they're bare because I did do a harvest, and I did blanch those last night and put them in the freezer. In the second row back here, we have another raspberry bush here, in here. So this is a red raspberry, and then we have a fall golden raspberry, I believe it was. And then in the middle, I have my pink lemonade blueberry. So I am still keeping those behind protection here, just because I don't want anything to eat those. If anyone knows, bare roots are kind of expensive. Even though the one in the middle was not a bare root, I did buy that plant after spending quite a bit of time looking for it. I really, really wanted a pink lemonade blueberry, so I did get it. And then I have some hollyhocks planted here. They are supposed to be black hollyhocks, so they will produce a nice black flower. So I'm really excited about those. And then if we walk around this way, don't mind the toilet, it will get taken out eventually. We have our peas in the back, which I do need to pick this one up and kind of push it back against the fence. That's what I do want them to grow up against. I have a broccoli. I have some mustard greens here. I think my shadow is in the way, but some mustard greens. Again, bare because they were picked last night. I have beautiful cabbages. Look at those cabbages. They look wonderful. They also look like they need a little bit of water, even though we did get a lot of rain. And then there's some onions planted in between. And in between those, another red Russian kale. I'm not exactly a huge kale fan, but I do cut them and I include them with my greens when I cook them, or I also give them to the chickens as well. So they will provide a use in our garden. And I also have some marigolds planted on the side in various spots throughout the garden bed. Kind of went overboard a little bit on the cabbages, so they are pretty much everywhere. So another cabbage, celery. We have a beautiful broccoli head here. I hope it's not bolting. It looks a little yellow there in the middle. And then some chives, more celery, another cabbage head that's not doing as well as the rest. It looks very, very small compared to the rest. And I did plant some peas and beans, you can see here throughout the middle, trying to waste no space within the garden. And then also here we have some more cilantro. Cilantro is well growing here. So a little bit of that everywhere, and another broccoli head there too. So all in all, the garden as a whole is doing very, very well. I'm very, very proud of it. So it is starting to warm up here. I am going to wrap up this video. I hope you did enjoy seeing everything that I have planted so far for the spring, and also what's slowly coming in for the summer as some of those spring items phase out. So if you did, again, enjoy this video, please don't forget to like, subscribe, and also share any tips that you may have as well. Have a great day. Bye-bye now.